Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest has been sanctioned by the National Wrestling Alliance. Officer in attendance is Anarchy owner Jerry Palmer. When the bell rings, the man in charge of the action is referee Brent Wiley. This contest, the first of our double main event for season's beatings, is for the NWA Anarchy Heavyweight Championship. Introducing first, to my right, he is wearing the black with the white and red trim. He stands 6'8" and weighs in at 265 1/2 pounds. He is a former holder of the Anarchy Heavyweight Championship, and tonight he is the challenger, the priest of punishment, Mikael Judas. Also to my right, he is wearing the black and white and the camo trunks. He hails from the SWATs, Atlanta, Georgia, and weighs in this evening at 254 pounds. He is a three-time former holder of the Anarchy Tag Team title, and he has been christened the People's Champion. Tonight, he is the challenger, Shadow Jackson. And finally, to my left, seconded this evening by the Reverend Dan Wilson, and representing the Devil's Rejects, he is wearing the black and red and fighting out of the compound, weighing in at 449 pounds. He has, for the last 9 months, been your current, reigning, and defending NWA Anarchy Heavyweight Champion, the No Pain Train, Iceberg.
Well, there you have the introduction. The formalities out of the way. All that stands between these three men and that championship now is the ringing of the bell. Brent Wiley displaying that Anarchy Heavyweight Championship, as you heard Greg Hunter say, around the waist of Iceberg for in excess of 9 months. And there's the bell. Now, how did we get to this? As I stated earlier, at Fright Night, Shadow Jackson pinned Iceberg in our huge main event tag team match. Shadow Jackson punched his card to season's beating by virtue of that win. Mikael Judas had to go through 2 very toughly fought matches with another former Anarchy Heavyweight Champion, Shatter, the Universal Soldier. The first one declared a no contest. The second one, Mikael Judas defeating Shatter to earn his shot here, and that was just 1 week ago on Anarchy television. We stated then, with the effects of the injury suffered in that match, hurt or help Mikael Judas in this situation.
And that remains to be seen. The Anarchy Heavyweight Championship on the line. This is a very disparate situation if you are the champion. Iceberg does not have to be pinned. He does not have to be forced to submit in order to lose the title. First pinfall, first submission, will walk out as the Anarchy Heavyweight Champion. Iceberg, who thus far, up until just now, has yet to be a factor. Right hand ducked, clothesline, and the champ is down on the floor. It is as if Mikael Judas and Shadow Jackson, who were partners back at Fright Night in that contest where Shadow Jackson earned his ticket to season's beatings here tonight, it is as if they want the champion out of the way to determine a winner between themselves.
And you know the one thing, Greg Hunter, I mean, that's an okay strategy. You eliminate one man in the match. But the one thing that you never want hanging over you is that cloud of doubt. There is nothing more exhilarating. There is nothing more satisfying than saying that you pinned the champion to win the championship
Oh,
belt.
good Lord! Iceberg, 450 pounds.
And Greg Hunter, I mean, I felt the building shake on that one.
Indeed, back body drop by Judas and Jackson onto the entrance ramp. Shadow Jackson has, on 3 separate occasions, been an Anarchy Tag Team Champion. He is no stranger to competing for the Anarchy Heavyweight Championship. But both Judas and Iceberg have been here before. They both know all too well what it takes to be the Anarchy Heavyweight Champion, the price that must be paid. And Mikael Judas, who had at the time an unparalleled reign as Anarchy Heavyweight Champion. Oh, wait a second here, cover, hook of the leg, and only a 2 count. Mikael Judas knows what he has to do to get back to that title. Iceberg knows what he must do to retain the title. Shadow Jackson never held a singles championship in this building. Shadow Jackson, a tag team competitor, almost first and foremost. A man who has had an incredibly tough year on the shelf for 4 months of it. When he came back, he was largely in tag team action with Slim J, then with Mikael Judas. So that comes into question. In this contest, give the agility edge, I think, to Mikael Judas. The size lies with Iceberg, but the strength is in doubt. All 3 of these men strong as the proverbial ox, and we are seeing that right here.
Hey, Greg Hunter, how ironic is it that here at Seasons Beating 2008, 1 year ago at this very event, this is where Shadow Jackson was injured. This is where the Achilles tendon was torn. And what, I mean, how big is it for him to come back to this very event a year later, competing for that Anarchy Heavyweight Championship?
Right now, Iceberg standing, stalking the priest of punishment. Shadow Jackson on the far side trying to climb his way back into the ring. Right hand by Judas. Another lefts and rights now from the priest of punishment as he delivers blows now to the skull of the Anarchy Heavyweight Champion. The mighty Iceberg, the altar of human mutilation. He has earned that name. The priest of punishment. Clothesline, cover, and only a 2 count. It is going to take an incredible amount of punishment for someone to put Iceberg away.
Now, I want to get your thoughts on this, Greg, because I was talking about it earlier. For the better part of 18 months, Mikael Judas has been right in the thick of things for that Anarchy Heavyweight Championship. If he doesn't get the job done here tonight, you would have to think that this would be one of his final shots. I mean, the opportunities just don't keep stacking out. He's going to have to start back somewhere.
Mikael Judas has kept himself in the thick of things. That is a certainty. But one, I would absolutely have to agree. If Mikael Judas were not to win here tonight, one would have to assume that it may be some time before he receives another opportunity at that Anarchy title. Knee will break up the cover.
And Greg Hunter, I mean, the thing is, Mikael Judas is a powerful, powerful man. This man is no slouch in the ring. I mean, granted, I don't like the guy. He kind of scares me. But the thing is, nothing takes away from being that former Anarchy Heavyweight Champion. And I know he's got to be hungry because he's tasted it. He's been on the brink of winning it. And it has been 3 years almost since he's lost that championship.
Indeed it has. He has Shadow Jackson just holding him like a small child. Fall away slam, good Lord. And there's the elbow from the Anarchy champion, biding his time, hook of the leg. And only a 2 count. 450 pounds crashing down on any part of your body is next of kin to getting hit upside the head with a cinder block. And that is the type of assault that these men will be attempting to withstand from the Anarchy Heavyweight Champion.
And Greg Hunter, we cannot reiterate enough to the fans at home that this is not an elimination match. This is one and done. The first pinfall is either going to retain Iceberg, the Anarchy Championship, or we're going to have a new champion on the first pinfall.
Big leg drop, lateral press. Does not hook a leg and covers way too close to Mikael Judas. Judas with what appears to be a handful of face. I couldn't tell you exactly what part he's clawing at, but he is doing an incredible job ripping away at the anatomy, rather effective. The Anarchy heavyweight champion on all fours, Shadow Jackson, rolling off his back, instinctual. And now, Mikael Judas driving the head of the Anarchy champion into the top turnbuckle. Shoulder, trying to soften up the midsection of what Dan Wilson calls wrestling soul serial killer.
You gonna argue with it?
No, not particularly. Irish whip, reversed, sends it back into the corner. Chest first, clothesline. Shadow Jackson poises himself, and a clothesline drops the priest of punishment.
And Greg Hunter, I've got to say one thing. Shadow Jackson very wisely taking out both of his opponents here. I mean, I know him and Mikael Judas have been partners, but the one thing is they can't share the Anarchy Heavyweight Championship. It's not a tag team title. Shadow Jackson, for the first time in his life, needs to be selfish.
Drop kick, seated, and we may not have any ice cubes in the near future from the Anarchy champion. Cover two.
Once again, not necessarily a bad thing.
Through, again, lateral press, again a 2 count. Kicking out expends a great deal of energy trying to force another human being off of you and force your shoulders off of the surface. Not an easy thing to do. Even though he may not have felt he could pin Jackson there, at the very least he could make Jackson expend more energy. Double noggin knocker.
And it looks like Iceberg and Shadow are holding each other up.
It certainly does. Again. And both Jackson and Iceberg are maybe not. Shadow Jackson, headbutt of his own, right hand, and down goes the man that the fans of NWA Anarchy have christened the People's Champion.
And Greg Hunter, you know, for the past 9 months that Iceberg's been the Anarchy Heavyweight Champion, we've seen him in peril, but this is the worst shape that I've seen him in quite some time.
Shadow Jackson, avalanche splash. Judas is down. Iceberg setting up. Iceberg charges. Iceberg just got hip locked onto Mikael Judas.
And that right there, I mean, accidental teamwork be as it may be. And Shadow Jackson trying to pick up Iceberg, couldn't quite get him up for the slam there.
A lot of punishment Jackson has taken off the ropes. Power slam. Shadow Jackson gets him up and over, drapes an arm across, and just that close.
Very close to the Anarchy Heavyweight Championship was Shadow Jackson. But Mikael Judas making his way back to his feet on the far side of the ring. All 3 men have expended a lot of energy in this one, Greg Hunter.
Judas on his feet. And big mafia kick. Drops Shadow Jackson. Iceberg forces himself up. Judas is poised. Signaling here perhaps for the choke slam. The Reverend Dan Wilson up on the apron. Shadow Jackson will bring down the leader of the Rejects. A big headbutt, and I do not believe that Wilson will be a factor. But hold on just a second here. Choke slam.
Shadow Jackson doesn't need to be worried about Dan Wilson. The man you have to pin is in the ring.
And just barely does Iceberg kick out. Shadow Jackson trying to make the save simultaneously. Now, Jackson pulling Iceberg up, clubbing forearm.
And Mikael Judas, you can see the anger and frustration in his face. He was right there, that close to regaining that Anarchy Heavyweight Championship.
Irish whip is reversed. Judas in. Judas holds on. Clothesline. Judas to the floor. This could be one man's opportunity. He is temporarily out of the equation. Jackson, right hand, and you hear the chant of Shadow Mania rising from the capacity crowd here in the NWA Arena. Shadow Jackson, right hand, driving down the fist into the skull of the Anarchy heavyweight champion. Mikael Judas back in clubbing form. And oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. He's got him set up. El Crucifejo, oh my Lord!
And he just threw Shadow Jackson 3/4 across the ring.
Cover, this should be all two! Oh, good grief! Ground zero. And Iceberg just wiped out everybody.
And right now, Iceberg is getting his way back up to his feet. If he can make the cover on one of these two men, he'll retain that Anarchy Championship.
He covers up Shadow Jackson, 2, and a boot from Judas to the skull of Iceberg. That will save the championship for moments. At the very least, looking now again, setting up for the choke slam. He's got him throttled. Elbow from Iceberg, make it 2. Iceberg just collides with him. Iceberg charges in. 10-31. Cover, hook of the leg, and a new one!
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this match, and new NWA Anarchy heavyweight champion, Shadow Jackson!
My God, Greg Hunter, I know a lot of our fans at home may not be aware unless you watch Anarchy television. A lot of personal tragedy that come triumph for Shadow Jackson over the past couple of weeks. And right now, the People's Champion is the Anarchy Champion.
Shadow Jackson almost literally in tears. So much has happened for those who have watched Anarchy television, who have followed the birth of Shadow Jackson's son, S.J. Jackson IV, mired with many complications. A young man fighting for his life, who made it through Shadow Jackson with SJ4 written on his page tonight. I spoke to him earlier. He said this was for his family and for the people here tonight. That's why he was walking in. He walks in. You got it. I can say it no better. He walked in the People's Champion, and he is walking out the holder of the Anarchy Heavyweight Championship. And this is just the first of 2 main events, JJ.
Yeah, we got the big steel cage match coming up, featuring Chemo taking on Dead Man Walking and Nate Rockwell. And you know what? I gotta say it. I'm happy for Shadow Jackson. Now at Christmas dinner, they can afford the turkey with 2 legs.
Shadow Jackson, as emotional as I have ever seen him. This is this man's day in the sun. Shadow Jackson is now the Anarchy heavyweight champion. The underdog walking in. The man who never held single gold in the NWA arena. A man who spent the first 4 months of 2008 on the shelf with a torn Achilles tendon. Who fought a war with a man who looked at it as his brother in nemesis of the Urban Assault Squad. A man who fought against the Devil's Reject at the side of Mikael Judas. A man who has seen his family tragedy turn into triumph. Personally, has done the same here tonight. Mikael Judas standing off with the Anarchy champion. He has the belt. And he places it on the shoulder for our heavyweight champion. Still to come, fans, is a big steel cage match. But there is when we can confidently say Shadow Dash is the champ, and season beatings will continue.
You've been a tag team champion 3 times before, but now, sir, you are the king of NWA Anarchy.
That said it all, man. I'm a little emotional right now, but when you said NWA, you grow up watching NWA. You don't grow up watching nowhere else. You grow up watching Flair, Funk, Dusty, Steamboat, Rock and Roll, Midnight, everywhere else. 8 years ago, I come through this building, taught by Stone Mountain, a former champion himself. Friday nights to opening matches to hoping I got a spot on the greatest TV wrestling show ever. Now, with the birth of my son, I bring him a title, not my title, but the people's title, these guys' title. Every man that has ever held this belt, from Mikael Judas, who started it, to Slim, my guy Jay, to Ace, to like him or not, hate him or not, Iceberg. I now hold my name with theirs.
Yeah, man.
All I can say is, let the ride begin. Woo!